Mhm. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and right now we are tracking the wet mess of a day we have for your Sunday, and it's all a part of a couple of fronts that are in the area this morning. And so for those who are wanting to figure out how much snowfall we're going to get, what we're going to do throughout the day in terms of this wet mess, what happens overnight, and what to expect for MLK Day, I have all those details for you right now. So here's a look at our satellite and radar, and you can see that we have not one, but two fronts in the area at the moment. These fronts are going to provide us with that moisture that we need for these snowfall and rainfall events for today. Right now, you can see our cold front, the second one now starting to move through the area here across Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. That's going to usher in that colder air for today. Now, temperatures will stay fairly stagnant during the morning time. Then once we get into the afternoon, they will start to plummet. So expect for these rain showers to continue for the morning time through the early afternoon. It really won't be until the afternoon, early evening until we get into those snow showers. If we could take this full for just a moment so people can see this big picture of this rainfall, that would be great. But you can see that through Norfolk and Virginia Beach, we are tracking some of that rainfall here and the cold front slicing right through Norfolk at the moment. This cold front moving through Cape Charles into Exmoor here through parts of the eastern shore and then heading into Saluda as well. I am tracking a little bit of some rainfall exiting the area. I'll take this surface map off so you can get a clearer view of what's going on. So here's a look at the statewide view for Virginia, and I'll even slide it down south for North Carolina. You can tell that we had earlier some snowfall in the central and western portions of the viewing area. If we could take max 1 full just for the full graphic, that would be great for just a moment so I could drive the radar just quickly here. Thank you. So you can see that here through Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, we've had ongoing showers this morning, and now I'm starting to see some of that snow that was in central Virginia become rainfall as well. Temperatures this morning pretty much area wide in the 40s. And as we progress throughout the day, temperatures again will fall. So expect for these temperatures to get closer to freezing later on. As we slide down through northeastern North Carolina, you can see that the rainfall continues through Raleigh and Rocky Mount and through Ahoskie, Eatonton, and Elizabeth City. So coming back to our general area, you can see that temperatures are supportive of this widespread rainfall, even heavy at times in some areas. So taking it closer to the peninsulas, right now I am tracking some rainfall this morning through Exmoor, Martin Siding, Cape Charles, through Stingray Point, Diggs, Achilles, just to the east of Gloucester, Poquoson. You're also seeing some of that widespread rainfall. There are some pockets of dryness, though, on our western viewing area. And then again, as you get closer to Norfolk, Virginia Beach, we're seeing widespread rainfall. But then in southern parts of Chesapeake, now seeing some dryness there. Suffolk, Franklin, light rainfall ongoing. And then in northeastern North Carolina, there are some pockets of heavier rainfall that I'll point out here with my arrow. It's going to be these areas in yellow. You see that right there offshore of the Outer Banks, heavy rainfall. Some areas of yellow just south of Killable Hills, some pockets of rainfall. You head closer to Columbia, south the Albemarle, some pockets of heavier rainfall. But you see widespread rainfall through northeastern North Carolina. Now, here's a look at the impacts we could see for today when it comes to this weather impact alert. Not in effect quite yet. We still are in the beginnings of this messy day where we're going to see the weather impact alert being issued for the afternoon and evening. And that's because that's when our rain will start to transition over into snow flurries. Now, the snow is not really my main concern. I'm not watching for big accumulations today. And I'll tell you the reason why in just a moment. But my concern is that anything that is on the roads, whether that's snow or slush or rain, has the likelihood of freezing over by later on tonight as temperatures plummet to the 20s area-wide. My concern is for those who are heading out to service projects for your MLK Day, especially during the morning time, you may run into slick spots. So be very, very careful here in the Mid-Atlantic. Though our winter weather advisories are really not for any big portions of the viewing area. We do have winter weather advisories for the northern neck and the middle peninsula. The rest are further north of the area. And the reason why is because we did not meet the criteria for a winter weather advisory. We may see up to 2 inches of snowfall at best in the areas in purple. Otherwise, areas south of that, again, seeing mainly just rain and a dusting of snow later on today. And here's a look again at your radar showing us what we're seeing for your Sunday. And it's showing that kind of messy situation here in Hampton Roads where the rainfall will eventually become that snowfall. So let's go ahead and get a look at what I'm expecting for the rest of your day here in Hampton Roads as that snowfall will start to pick up later on today. And the snowfall here, again, will be leading to minor accumulations. So right now, I will say the graph model, which is one of our shorter range models, is showing widespread rain. It's not really doing a good job in showing the pockets of that dryness, but it gets the gist. We're seeing mostly rain here, and about 70% to 80% of the area is experiencing some type of rain at the moment, whether that's light rain or whether that's moderate rainfall. And temperatures right now are stuck in those lower to middle 40s. We get to the middle of the morning into the late morning, right around 9 to 10 p.m. So the next 20 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, still ongoing rain. Then by the afternoon, that's when we start to see the snow building in central Virginia and central North Carolina. Temperatures around Richmond, West Point, Tappahannock, that's when we'll see the 30s starting to pick up here. So you can see that 36 degrees is the forecast temperature for Tappahannock by about 2 p.m. For West Point, around 38 degrees by 2, and in Richmond, again, 36 degrees there as you head up I-64. And the blue, purple, that's all wet snow tracing just along the I-95 and I-85 corridors. So if you have any plans to head up to Richmond from the Hampton Roads area, you need to be careful as conditions will start to deteriorate starting northwest to southeast. So from Richmond down through Hampton Roads is how the snow will start to move for today. And you can see that for our futurecast by about 5 p.m. That's when about 2/3 or at least, 60 to 70% of the area will see some type of wet snow. The snowfall coming as those temperatures fall. And you can see that from those north winds. Remember, wind direction is super important. North winds pull in that really cold air. And that's why temperatures during this time will hover just above freezing. You do not need temperatures to be at freezing to see snow. If we have temperatures hovering just above freezing, we get that wet, really packed snow that you can kind of build snowballs with, build snowmen with. This is the type of snow that you don't really see that's powdery, that's easily blowable. This is the stuff that is like hard to the touch where you can compact it a little bit. But even so, because it's rained all morning, it will have trouble sticking to the ground. Plus, when it comes to the ground, it takes a lot longer for roads to cool off than actual vegetation. So even though air temperatures will be in the upper 30s, it's likely that the road temperatures will still be in the lower 40s during this time. But when snow falls in an area, the snow actually helps to cool the air. And so eventually we'll see temperatures falling to near or below normal later on this evening. But by that time, all the moisture shuts down. And so if we were to have moisture later on tonight in a different scenario, a lot of that would have been snow that probably could have piled up. It's just the cold air and the timing of the moisture not really as aligned for a big snowfall event for today. So that's a look at about 5 p.m. today. Now, Outer Banks, you may see just cold rain all day as temperatures hover in the lower 40s. But by about 9 p.m., I'll even kind of push this back just a little bit so you can see where the tail end of this system is. Right around 8:30 to 9 o'clock is when the snow really pushes offshore. We're still left with some cloud cover, but then we're going to see all of that tapering off later on tonight. And by this time, around 8:30 to 9 o'clock, we're going to see temperatures hovering just around or slightly above freezing. But again, because of the rain first, that will create slushier conditions as the snow falls down, plus the ground temperatures being a little bit too warm to support a lot of snow accumulation. I am not talking high totals at all today. Here's a look at the snowfall potential through the next about 12 hours. And we're going to see maybe a dusting of snow up to an inch. The higher totals will be in those winter weather advisory areas, northern neck, middle peninsula, and then heading up north of our area. So again, could we maybe see a 1/10 of an inch, a 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 1/2 an inch? Sure. It's going to probably be on more of the grassier areas. So this is not going to be a snowfall event that is going to disrupt daily life, especially because I was out on the roads yesterday, just out and about through Hampton Roads, and VDOT has already taken precautions and have pre-treated the roads. So anything that does come to fall on the ground and tries to stick will have trouble sticking because of the treatment on our main roads. So everything should be fine, especially because a lot of people, if you're watching here this morning, you may have work off tomorrow. A lot of us do, obviously not people in the news, but if you work in schools, your children probably are out of school, teachers may have a teacher work day at home or whatever the case is. A lot of people will be at home unless they're going to service projects tomorrow. And so thankfully, in that case, we're not going to see the higher volume of traffic we typically see with a Monday morning. But even in that case, be careful of any of that slush becoming black ice. I don't want anybody to slip or you to run over some black ice and lose traction as you're driving. So take those extra precautions. Now, speaking of the cold air coming tonight, I want to show you what to expect for your MLK Day, because a lot of people will be out serving the community and helping to give back on a day that is so important here in American culture of just treating our neighbors like our friends. Tomorrow morning, we're going to see temperatures in the upper 20s, and that's going to be the reason why we see the black ice kind of redeveloping or developing overnight as that slush starts to freeze on some of the roads. Temperatures inland most likely hovering in the lower 20s. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some teens in the mix there as well. By the afternoon, highs will be in the middle 40s at best. Lots of sunshine for us for tomorrow, but again, that sunshine is not going to really help us in this case. Not going to be able to slice through some of that cold air at our surface. Otherwise, it should be a pretty visually beautiful day, just a very chilly MLK Day for us here in Hampton Roads, especially during the morning time. So if you are heading out to service projects, you definitely need to bundle up. Now, I do want to give you a look at what the other models are saying. We have a lot of different models that we use. And I'm actually going to switch this from the 2-panel to the 3-panel. We have a lot of different models we use. The graph model and the high resolution rapid refresh, or the HRRR, those are the short range models. So they only go out to about 2, maybe sometimes 3 days. These models, the NAM model kind of goes at around 3 days. The GFS and the Euro can go out to a week sometimes. If you have the extended ones, it can go out a little bit longer. But the North American model, or the NAM model, is just blowing this well out of proportion. And it shows kind of our thinking here at 13 News Now to show you all of the snowfall models and why we kind of came to the solution of lower totals kind of favoring the European model versus the NAM model and the GFS model. So the North American model, that's the one on the far left of your screen, showing a widespread 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. Very unlikely in this situation. 1, because temperatures will stay in the 40s through at least noon. And 2, because we are staying in the 40s through at least noon. We're going to see a lot of snow, a lot of rainfall, and that snowfall will have trouble sticking to the ground because the rain is already there. The GFS model is not as extreme as the NAM model, but the GFS, or the American model, is showing that we can maybe see up to 2.5 inches, still well out of proportion. I don't think it will be that extreme at all, again, because of the warmer temperatures, or the quote warmer temperatures throughout the morning and the early afternoon, warmer than freezing. And then because we do have that cold air that will linger behind, plus the widespread rainfall that will kind of aid in helping the snow not stick to the ground as easily. The European model, a little bit more in line to our thinking of maybe a dusting up to an inch. The higher totals maybe north and west of the main area, the heart of Hampton Roads, but it all depends if we get some heavier snow bands, how quickly the cold air rolls in. Again, just not going to be the biggest system that will bring us the biggest snowfall we've ever seen. And I always try to compare these snow days to what we saw in February, where February we had 10, 12, 13 inches of snowfall just almost 11 months ago. And that's because we had the cold air already in place. Temperatures were actually sitting near or below freezing, and we had ample moisture to work with. In this situation, with the two cold fronts we have now, because we do have this lack of cold air, plus we also have the lack of a lot of moisture when it comes to the afternoon time, that's when we're going to see some of that snowfall just not being able to stick to the ground. It's just not going to be one of those days where we get the snow day that I think a lot of people have been wanting. So right now, satellite and radar are showing again the widespread rainfall ongoing here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Earlier this morning, some places near northern Virginia and central Virginia, we're seeing some flurries, but again, a lack of moisture ongoing now, even through Richmond, where yesterday during the inauguration it was raining, and now you can see that only a few isolated showers exist as you head down I-95 and I-85 through Petersburg and through South Hill, but otherwise not much more moisture to work with there. It's all being pushed to the east to our direction, and a lot of the heaviest rainfall that we saw this morning now tapering off into widespread light to moderate rainfall during the late morning now. So giving you another look at what to expect as you're heading out the door. If you're heading out the door soon, we are tracking those light to moderate showers through the southern half of the eastern shore, through Exmoor, through Cape Charles. And then for the middle peninsula, Diggs is seeing a burst of some heavier rainfall. Achilles, though, seeing light to moderate rainfall. And through Poquoson, Newport News, Hampton, rainfall continues. We do have a slice of some dry air from Norfolk through Suffolk, but that rainfall is moving straight and due east. And so what that will do is push some of this rainfall through Norfolk and Suffolk over the next few minutes. Virginia Beach down through Chesapeake, still seeing some rainfall. Franklin, you're also seeing rainfall this morning, and up through Rushmere. Surrey, you're dry for the moment, but expect rainfall to continue. It will be intermittent. So what that means is that we're going to see rainfall now, maybe a dry pocket for a few minutes, more rainfall later, and then eventually transitioning over into snow. All of northeastern North Carolina at the moment is covered in that rainfall here, and the yellow areas signifying those pockets of moderate rainfall south of the Albemarle near Columbia. But again, this is just going to be more your run-of-the-mill cold rain for today, so grab a jacket before heading out the door. And I would grab a heavier coat than normally you would for a rain day, just because the temperatures, if you plan to stay out all day, will plummet during the afternoon. Here's another look at the timeline of the rain and snowfall for today. Temperatures starting off this morning in the lower to middle 40s. We get into the early afternoon, and that's when temperatures start to plummet from northwest to southeast. During the afternoon, this is right around 1:45 to 2 p.m., we'll still mainly see widespread cold rain, but for places around the middle peninsula, northern neck, and then heading into northern Virginia and west out to Richmond, that will become snow right around lunchtime. Then the snow starts to spread to the east, where the majority of us, anywhere from the south side up through peninsulas and extreme western, northeastern North Carolina, will see those snow showers. Again, these snow showers could bring some heavier bands at some times, but because we already have the rain during the morning, plus the warmer temperatures, the ground will not be able to really pick up a lot of accumulation today. If you live near Kill Devil Hills, your chances of seeing snow accumulation are very minimal. I'm talking maybe a little bit of a light coating up to 0.2 of an inch at best, just because temperatures will be hanging on to the 40s pretty well. By the time we get to 8:30, that's when everything shuts down. But my concern then turns to anything that's sitting on the roads in terms of the rain or the snow or the combination making a slush will likely freeze over tonight, as temperatures overnight will fall into the 20s and 30s. And you can see, I'll go right back here just a little bit earlier. There we go. Right around here, you're seeing temperatures inland hovering just above the teens. You get into the coastline and we're below 30 degrees. So everyone in the 20s except for places around the middle to southern Outer Banks. By tomorrow afternoon, we start to warm back up to the 40s as south winds take over. But again, not a really big weather day for us when it comes to snowfall potential. It just will be a messy day in general. Overall, I'm forecasting anywhere from 1/2 inch of snowfall to maybe up to 1 inch, but most of us will just get a dusting, and then places to the north and west may see you know, 1/2 inch to up to 1 inch at best. So we issued the weather impact alert just because conditions could get messy later on tonight. It's one of those days where, as a meteorologist, I encourage you to stay indoors, enjoy your loved ones, and for people like me who, you know, may just want to enjoy their television or enjoy, you know, reading a book today, it's one of those days where it's probably best to stay inside if you can. We don't want you to run into any issues, but especially if you do not have to travel tomorrow morning, then it's probably best you don't. If you are traveling tomorrow morning, again, to service projects, or you're heading out and about, for those who do have to work, like us here at the news, we still have to work as well. Be very careful as you're heading into work tomorrow because of the possibility of black ice. So today, temperatures fall from the mid-40s this morning down to the 30s this afternoon. Weather impact alert in effect later on today for that transition from rain over into snow. Tomorrow, I am watching for a lot of sunshine. Temperatures starting off in the 20s, but by the afternoon, we'll make it into the middle 40s. We're going to stay sunny through Wednesday, but the coldest day of the week will be Tuesday. We'll be struggling to climb above freezing during the afternoon, but our next system brings us in some warmer air ahead of it, so by Thursday we're back near normal. On Thursday, I am tracking the potential of some isolated scattered showers, and that possibility for rain returns again later on into next weekend. But be very careful. Again, weather impact alert in effect for this afternoon and evening as the rain becomes wet snow today that could lead to some slushiness and some slick spots on our roads tonight into tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned for updates on this forecast. I'll be back at 11 a.m. on 13 News Now Plus for the latest updates on what I'm tracking with radar, the latest updates on the models as they show us what the thinking is for the timing of the snow, because remember, each and every hour as we get closer to the event, we get even more information that makes the day more refined when it comes to those details. Again, not the biggest snow day ever. It's probably one of the more minimal snow days we'll see, with a dusting up to 1 inch of snow, but more updates will come at 11 a.m. here on 13 News Now Plus. I'll have another update at 1 p.m. after that, and then meteorologist Hunter Force will take over as the rain becomes snow. I'll see you later on today, and if not, have a very safe and happy holiday weekend. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with 13 News Now on 13 News Now Plus, and of course on the 13 News Now app. I am tracking what is going to be a pretty messy rest of the day here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina as a front moves through that will bring us some showers here to the area. These showers will eventually transition over into snow later on today. So I'll talk more about why we've issued a weather impact alert for this afternoon and evening, the timing of that rain snow mix, and what to expect in terms of impacts from this very messy Sunday. So here's a look at what I'm tracking right now for the weather impact alert. We are going to have this weather impact alert in effect for this afternoon and evening. Main impact is going to be rain to snow showers. So starting off as a widespread rain, which if you are watching here on 13 News Now Plus or watching through the app, all you have to do is just look outside to see that it is raining here, and it's been fairly consistent throughout the day. But what will happen is that kind of slushy mix as both the rain and the snow interact on the ground will most likely freeze over tonight because temperatures will fall to the 20s. It will be a very cold night for the majority of the area. And for places inland, we could see temperatures as cold as the upper teens. So anything that is wet or slushy will freeze on the grounds, and that will create some pretty, some hazardous spots on the roads for those who may be heading out tomorrow morning. Now, we do not meet the criteria, though, for any winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, or even a winter storm watch. We just won't have enough in the way of snowfall totals or snowfall accumulation to see the potential for these alerts. There are alerts in place, though, the further north you get, and that's really mainly for places like the Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula. You head up into the Delmarva Peninsula, so places north of Hampton Roads, and I am tracking some higher accumulations. Now, the Weather Service even says these accumulations should be fairly light. That's why it's a winter weather advisory and not a winter storm warning, because the accumulations may only be up to about 2 inches in the places in purple. I can also right now here on our studio rooftops the rain coming down, so I'm tracking some heavier downpours moving through Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina as we speak here on 13 News Now Plus. But again, the snowfall accumulation is so light that we are not in any type of winter weather advisory. So here we go. Here's a setup. The heavy rain really starting to pick up. As I said, I just heard it on the rooftops here at the 13 News Now studio. And it's a part of 2 fronts. So here's front number 1, and I'll point it out with my little clicker here. Front number 1. And the low pressure system is sitting just offshore of the Outer Banks. This pulling in some moisture to the area. Also, this second front behind it is really the big rainmaker. It's pulling in a lot of that moisture, and again, heavy downpours starting to build here around the south side in northeastern North Carolina. Now, I want to show you what's going on in parts of the central Virginia area into western North Carolina. And that is rain mixing over into snow for Charlottesville, Livingston, down through Lynchburg and Dillwyn and Farmville. But you head towards western North Carolina, Hickory, so down I-40, Hickory, and south of the Virginia-North Carolina border, also some rain snow mix. So it's beginning as temperatures start to plummet behind this front. But again, I'm seeing the radar pick up on these heavier downpours for the south side in northeastern North Carolina. So let's take a closer look here with our radar. So Saluda, Gloucester, you are dry at the moment. As you see, no rain going on here through Holly Forks and most of Williamsburg. Diggs, Achilles through Newport News, Poquoson, Minchville, we're seeing those areas getting some light rain. As you get up to the eastern shore, Chincoteague through Exmoor, light rainfall. It's down on the southern eastern shore into the south side where the heaviest rain is coming through now. Cape Charles down to Kiptopeke, also Newport News, closer to the Monitor Merrimack, Hampton, are seeing some very heavy rainfall. And then Norfolk, Virginia Beach, most of Chesapeake, most of Suffolk, seeing some heavier rainfall here. And with this, we can actually, because we're on this radar, we can actually zoom into the orangey colors and get a little bit of a, we call it a query, or we're going to pose a question. How much rain is falling right now? So in this area, precipitation rates are over an inch per hour, so very heavy rainfall. If this section of the rain band was to sit over Norfolk for an hour, we would pick up an inch of rainfall. So it's pretty heavy rainfall there. Let's go just south of Bay Island, and you can see the rainfall is significantly slower. It's only 0.3 of an inch per hour. So downtown Norfolk, heading into areas closer to the airport and the bay, rainfall rates over 1 inch per hour. So super heavy rainfall coming down now. Yeah, mainly over an inch or so in most places. So be aware of that. Same for places around Back Bay, seeing some heavier rainfall. Creeds, Vine, Blackwater, Knott's Island in North Carolina, Moyock, Gregory, Elizabeth City. Some heavy rainfall just to the south of Ahoskie. I mean, this is probably the heaviest rainfall. It's kind of in a nearby area. Near Rhodes and Woodville, rainfall rates are over 2 inches per hour. So it does get heavier in this specific band. What I like to do with this is kind of play it out to see where the rain is tracking. So it's tracking north and east. So that means Ahoskie, you're going to get those really heavy rain bands in the next few minutes. And it may even track closer to the Virginia-North Carolina border. So places in southern Suffolk, southern Chesapeake have the opportunity of seeing some heavier rainfall moving in over the course of the next hour or so. But as you can tell, the rainfall heavy here on the south side. Same with northeastern North Carolina. You zoom out. And we are tracking some areas of some snow closer to northern Virginia. But the Richmond area is dry for now. But a lot of this rain will eventually turn into snow showers. And that's because temperatures will fall behind the front that I showed earlier, which I'll show you the position again here right now. So it kind of gives you an idea of kind of what I'm talking about with this system. So here is that satellite and radar. You can see the heavy rainfall here, the front producing and pulling in the moisture here. This front will eventually slide to the east. And we're going to see north winds taking over. Once those north winds start to take over, that will usher in that cooler air. So here's a look at the rest of the day. We get into around 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and the rain starts becoming snow in places like Tappahannock, Richmond, West Point, and that rain snow line is just about here through Newport News, up through Matthews, and out to the bay. Once we get to around 5 p.m., then most of the south side, majority of all the peninsulas, will see some heavier snow, possibly at times, but mainly a wet snow that's moderate in nature. The problem is this cold air is really struggling to seep into Hampton Roads. Depending on how long that takes will dictate how much snow we will see. If it takes longer for the cold air to seep in, that means we're going to mainly see a very cold rain. If the cold air starts to seep in a little bit quicker, more likely of a chance for that rain to then transition over into snow earlier in the afternoon and evening. But this just gives you a general idea of what I'm tracking through 5 p.m., through 6. By about 7 o'clock, a lot of the moisture starts to sweep offshore. We will still have some lingering flurries for the eastern shore, Virginia Beach, eastern South Side, and portions of extreme northern Northeast North Carolina. But you can tell how right about here, that places near the Outer Banks, Elizabeth City, right on that rain snow line. It just there may not be enough time for the cold air to sit in place to really get that transition over. What I'm saying is basically the cold air and the moisture timing are off. And when that is off, that hinders our snow accumulation. To get a pretty good snow here in Hampton Roads, you have to already really have that cold air in. That's why it's going to be taking a while for that rain to move over then into snow, because we're starting off in the 40s. The 40s will try to hang on as long as they can by the afternoon. Then we'll finally see some temperatures falling to the 30s. But in northeastern North Carolina, because the 40s are still hanging on, expect mainly a cold rain all day long. We get into the evening time and the night, temperatures fall to the 20s and 30s, the rain and snow out to sea. We'll still have some lingering clouds, but it will clear out through the morning. The problem is we get to the overnight right around 6 a.m. and temperatures are in the 20s throughout Hampton Roads and throughout northeastern North Carolina. So that means anything that is on the ground that's wet or slushy will freeze over, and we could end up with some areas of black ice for tomorrow. So here's a look at the potential from the graph model, which is the model I just showed you, looking at the looking at the futurecast. There we go. Looking at the futurecast, this brings down the snowfall totals even from earlier, even though they were already light to begin with. The graph model had mainly 0.2 of an inch to half an inch area wide with some 1 inch totals to the north and west. This even brought it down further, and I think that's because the cold air is really not seeping in well, and we have much heavier rainfall going on now, and because the rain falls first, that will not help the snow to stick on the ground. So right now the graph model is projecting anywhere from 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to half an inch at best. Here's a look at the European GFS and NAM models. Now the North American model finally getting his act together this morning, still showing up to 4 inches, which was ridiculous. We never thought it was going to be 4 inches of snow. Now more in line with the Euro and the graph model, saying that we should get a dusting, and that's the NAM, the North American model, showing that we should get maybe a dusting of snow. The GFS still is hanging on to 1 to 2 inches. That is blown out of proportion. I think at best, some areas, and mainly around the peninsulas, could get up to 1 inch, but even that is pushing it. For Sunday afternoon, according to the Euro model, anywhere from a dusting up to 1 inch with some higher totals to the north and west. Makes sense, as those areas will see the cold air rush in first. But this is going to be one of those days where you get a nice little coating of snow on some of the grass and the trees, and that's about it. A lot of people were asking me over the course of the past week or so, would they be able to get out of school? Is it going to be something where school will be canceled? And I was like, no, just because it's just not enough snow. And the roads are already pre-treated by VDOT. So we already are going to have issues with snow sticking because the ground temperatures will be too warm. And we have the rain already that will make it more of a slushy mess than a snow event when it comes to how it sticks to the ground. Then you have VDOT, who's already pre-treated the roads. So it's actually going to take the snow a little bit more time to stick to the roads, because now instead of the snow sticking to the ground and freezing at 32 degrees, when you pre-treat the roads, the freezing point drops to the 20s, and we will not be in the 20s until much later tonight. And that's why my concern for black ice exists for your Sunday night into Monday morning, where all that slush will definitely freeze, causing some slick spots. So be careful for black ice. Speaking of tomorrow, obviously a federal holiday. We are celebrating the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And if for those who are heading to do service projects, who are hosting service projects out in the community tomorrow, you do need to bundle up. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s during the morning time. I know a lot of service projects tomorrow get started very early, so bundle up. You need the hat, the gloves, the scarf, multiple layers, heavier coats as you're out and about, of course, doing your due diligence as neighbors of this community and serving our community and paying it forward. But you just need to protect yourself, because it's very easy to start to feel the effects of cold temperatures on fragile and exposed limbs of your body, especially your fingers, your toes, and your ears. So make sure those are covered. By the afternoon, highs will be in the mid-40s. We'll have a lot of sunshine tomorrow once this system passes through. But again, we're not really focused on snow so much this morning. It's really going to be that heavier rainfall that I'm watching at the moment. I do want to give you another look at the radar. So here's a look at the low pressure systems that were sandwiched between. One of them was stalled out earlier, pulling in some more moisture. This front here, already passing through, is just lingering. It's just sitting there. This front, the second front here, that is going to be the one that will push through, bring us a huge cold blast. But right now, tracking some heavier rainfall with snow starting to build in places well far inland, heading towards the mountainous regions of both North Carolina and Virginia. But Roanoke seeing a few flurries flying now. Richmond is very dry at the moment. It's really Hampton Roads that's getting the brunt of the heavy rain here. So again, here's a look at the rainfall. And for Gloucester, Saluda, Stingray Point, you're dry. Williamsburg, you're dry. Holly Forks, you're dry. It's the eastern shore that's seeing the brunt of the rain for the peninsulas, covering the eastern shore at the moment, but the heaviest rainfall moving through Cape Charles and Chesapeake at the moment. Hampton also getting some heavy rainfall now. Downtown Norfolk, we have seen some heavier rainfall. I want to see if there are any higher rainfall rates in the mix here. Yeah, we're seeing rainfall rates right now a little bit less than an inch. So it's starting to slow down just a little bit. Let's take it down into Chesapeake. I'm sorry, here we go. Take it down into Chesapeake. Where it's about 3/4 of an inch, over just over 3/4 of an inch in terms of heavier rainfall. So I mean, we're talking pretty moderate rainfall there through Virginia Beach, Franklin, Rushmere, seeing some rainfall there too. And then northeastern North Carolina, there's very heavy band of rain now moving through Ahoskie, Harrodsville, and just south of Gatesville. And here, rainfall rates near St. John are 1.5 inches per hour. Again, this is to say if this rain band sat over and near Ahoskie for an hour, we would pick up 1.5 inches of rain. So very heavy rainfall starting to build there in Ahoskie. Yeah, right around 1 inch as you head into western portions of northeastern North Carolina. So overall, heavy rainfall still coming through. Obviously, that I shouldn't have to reiterate this, of course, because you guys know. But of course, just making sure you have the rain gear before you head out the door. And I would maybe say if you're going to be out for a while, you have the heavier coat because temperatures will plummet throughout the afternoon. And here's a look at that. So we're in the middle 40s now. We're going to stay in the lower to middle 40s through about 1 to 2 p.m. And I'll be back again at 1 o'clock to track this with you to see if the snow has finally started to build into Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, but we'll see 30s to the north, 40s middle and south of the area. By the afternoon, evening, that becomes, and I'll scoot this back just a little bit, right around 5 o'clock, that becomes mainly wet snow for the peninsulas and the western south side, eastern south side, a mix of snow and rain with cold rain around the Albemarle Sound for those in northeastern North Carolina, maybe a few flurries, finally making it over the Virginia-North Carolina border by about 6 o'clock. After 6:30, 7 o'clock, the snow and rain quickly move out to sea, and this rain and snow event is over. Temperatures tonight falling into the 30s by 9 p.m. with 20s waking up tomorrow morning, so a very cold day. Again, one more look at your snowfall totals for the rest of the day, and you can see that even the graph model has really pulled back on the thinking of maybe even half an inch. We're talking maybe just a dusting of snow. So here's a look at your 5 to 7 day forecast so you can prepare for the rest of your week. Temperatures today starting off in the mid 40s, and we're still stuck in the mid 40s, but as we head through the afternoon, temperatures will fall. That weather impact alert does go into effect in the next 35 minutes at noon. By tomorrow, we're cold, watching for potential areas of slick spots, black ice, as the rain-snow mix will create a slushy mess today that will freeze overnight as temperatures drop to the 20s. Tomorrow afternoon, highs at best in the middle 40s, but we'll have a lot of sunshine. Sunshine continues through Wednesday, but it will not break through that cold air we'll experience here close to the ground. Temperatures will be at best in the upper 30s on Tuesday, back to the upper 40s by Wednesday. We're near normal on Thursday with highs in the lower 50s and isolated showers, but our next front comes through heading into the late week that will bring temperatures down for early next week, but also give us an opportunity for scattered showers. And we'll watch to see how the rain and potential maybe a little bit of wintry mix may develop on Saturday and Sunday. Of course, that's about 7 days out, but there are some indications that we may see a little bit of a mix for the weekend as temperatures do plummet early next week. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Here's one last look at your weather impact alert for today. The wind impact and what you need to do. And wind Sunday afternoon and evening, so starting around noon will be in the weather impact alert. And then for the impact will be these rain showers that are now heavy at times will eventually become snow showers this afternoon and evening. That slushy mess could freeze overnight, and you need to watch for slick spots on the roads. So overall, of course, not the biggest snowmaker ever, and probably not even that big of a snowmaker in general, where a dusting is the most likely scenario here in Hampton Roads as we progress through the day today. Now, I just want you all to be careful on the roads and make sure that you are paying attention to others. Of course, making sure tomorrow morning, if you're heading out to a service project or you're heading out to work, that you take your time on the roads because we will be watching for areas of black ice. I will be back here at 1 p.m. to walk you through what I'm seeing on radar at the moment at 1 o'clock, which will most likely start to see the beginnings of that rain becoming snow. Then meteorologist Hunter Force will be here with you on 13 News Now Plus throughout the day to track the full transition of rain to snow, and he'll be on 13 News Now on TV at 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. I'll see you again at 1 p.m. And if I don't, have a great day and a great rest of your holiday weekend.